The most powerful move you will ever make is the one no one sees coming. In that one truth, we find the foundation for everything that follows. We live in a world filled with noise, a world of announcements and declarations. People talking about the goals they will one day achieve, the progress they intend to make, the success they have not yet earned. But talk doesn't build a thing. It's a ghost. It has no substance. The real work, the kind that lasts, is done in the silence. This is a guide to that silence. It is an invitation to stop telling people what you do, and instead, to focus, to build, to let the victory, in its own time, make the noise. You do not need to announce your journey. You don't need to prove your worth to a watching world. You only need to commit, quietly, to yourself. You need to show up when the cameras are off. Get better when no one is counting. And trust that the results will speak with a clarity that words can never match. This is how you protect your energy. This is how you stop performing and start producing. If you are serious about building a life of substance, your work begins here, quietly, consistently, without a single word. Chapter 1. The Quiet Decision. Close your mouth and get serious about your life. That is the starting line. It isn't a loud declaration. It is a quiet, internal shift. It is the moment you wake up one morning and decide, deep in your bones, that you have had enough. Enough of the talk without action. Enough of wasting the precious hours of your days. Enough of pretending things are okay when your spirit knows they are not. That decision, the one made in the stillness of your own mind, with no audience to applaud it, that is what changes everything. You don't need permission. You don't need approval. You need a deeply honest conversation with yourself. A quiet vow that says, I will no longer play small. I will no longer look for the shortcut. I will simply do the work. Most people spend their lives talking about the house they want to build, but they never pick up a hammer. Why? Because talking is easy. Talking gives you the feeling of progress without the effort of it. It's a cheap warmth, a quick hit of validation from others that fades the moment they look away. Real progress begins when you go quiet. When you decide to stop sharing every plan and start building every day. When you trade the comfort of being understood for the power of becoming something more. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your ambition. Not your friends, not your neighbors, not even your family. This is your life. And most people will not understand your newfound hunger. They will not understand your silence, and that is okay. Longer pause. You are not building your life to make sense to them. You are building it to become the person you know in your heart you were meant to be. And that person, the one you dream of, the one who whispers to you late at night when the world is asleep, that person doesn't need attention. It needs action. There is a profound strength that grows when nobody's looking. A kind of power that is cultivated in the silence. You get serious about your life when you stop chasing validation, when you stop needing someone else to agree with your path. You don't grow by telling, you grow by doing. So let the world keep talking. Let them post about their intentions. You can keep explaining your dream, or you can evolve into the person who lives it. The world doesn't need to hear your plans. It is waiting to witness your transformation. Chapter 2. The Unseen Rhythm. Work quietly on your goals. Every single day. Pause. That is the mindset. The engine of a life transformed. It doesn't sound glamorous. It won't get a round of applause. But it is the only thing that works. Real progress begins the moment you stop waiting for a spark of motivation and you start moving with the quiet hum of discipline. Not once a week, not when it's convenient, but every day, quietly, consistently, without needing to make a show of it. The problem for so many is that they want the harvest, but they have no love for tending the soil. They want to be seen doing the hard work more than they want to actually do the work when no one is watching. And that is the trap that keeps them starting over, forever looking for a magic answer. The answer is this: be consistent when it's not exciting. Keep showing up when the world is not clapping. That is where the foundation of your future is laid. Pause. Life does not reward the person who works hard once in a while. It rewards the one who puts in the time when it's uncomfortable, when it's slow, when it feels like nothing is changing. Those are the days that matter most. Those are the deposits you make into your own future, compounding in silence until they become an avalanche of success. You must build a rhythm that is yours alone, not a routine copied from someone else. You must find your own pace, your own sacred hours. Maybe it's in the stillness of the early morning. Maybe it's in the quiet of the late night. Whatever it is, claim it, defend it. Do not wait for the perfect time to arrive, for that day never comes. Just begin. So begin, even if you must begin small. The people who truly win are not the ones who make the most noise. They are not the ones forever announcing their next move. They are the ones who show up, day after day, in the quiet, getting better, without needing to explain it to anyone. Pause. You see them a year from now, and they are transformed. But what you did not see was the sacred arithmetic of their effort. You did not see the 6 a.m. mornings. You did not see the nights. They chose work over the easy comfort of distraction. You did not see the discipline. And you were not supposed to, because they were not doing it for show. They were doing it for themselves. That is the key. You must stop trying to impress the world and start the quiet work of building yourself. Don't post about it. Don't announce it. Just work. Find the one reason that keeps you going when it's hard. A reason that doesn't fade when the world gets quiet. And think long-term. Pause. Building anything meaningful takes time. It takes a level of sacrifice that many are unwilling to give. And yes, it will be lonely. There will be days when no one understands the path you are on. Moments when you question the silence. When you question yourself. Keep going. That is the process. The quiet space of doubt is where character is forged. Those who endure the difficult parts are the ones who arrive somewhere worthwhile. You have to be at peace with not being noticed for a while. You have to learn to love the work that gets no recognition. Because in time, the results will make their own noise. Your growth will speak louder than any words you could have ever said. But you must earn it. You must be patient with it. Use your time wisely. Don't just be busy, be focused. Know what you are building. Break it down into small, daily acts. And then follow through. Even when you are tired. Even when the initial excitement has faded. Show up anyway. Longer pause. The truth is, your future depends entirely on the choices you make when no one is watching. 1 hour of focused work every single day adds up to hundreds of hours in a year. That is enough time to completely change a life. But it only happens when you make it a habit. Discipline rarely feels good in the moment, but it feels infinitely better than regret. Most people live with regret because they waited too long. They waited for the perfect time, the right feeling, the bolt of inspiration. And in that waiting, they lost years. Do not let that be your story. Motivation is a feeling. It comes and goes like the weather. Discipline is a system you build, a promise you keep to yourself. And while you build it, protect your peace. You do not owe anyone an explanation for your routine. You do not need to convince anyone of your path. Stay quiet. Stay focused. You are not doing this for attention. You are doing this for freedom, for strength. You are doing this because your life deserves more than the bare minimum. There is a deep pride that comes from this path. The pride of knowing you kept your word to yourself, that you were improving without needing to show off. This is what builds real confidence. Not the shallow kind, based on likes and praise, but a deep, unshakable confidence that comes from showing up again and again. Eventually, people will notice. But by then, you will no longer need them to. You will already know who you have become. Chapter 3. Stop proving, start building. Stop proving and start building what truly matters. This is the point where a life turns. Not when you convince others, not when you impress an audience, but when you decide once and for all that you no longer need their approval to move forward. So much energy is wasted trying to be understood, trying to be accepted. But none of that builds your future. The truth is simple. You do not need to prove anything to anyone. You only need to make progress. Quiet, steady, personal progress. The desire to prove yourself keeps you in a prison of perception. You post, you update, you explain, you chase recognition, and in doing so, you slow down. You lose focus. You begin to forget the real reason you started. Because now, you're not doing it for your own growth. You're doing it to be noticed. You are trading progress for performance, a shadow play for an audience that may not even be watching. That is the downfall. The goal is not to be right in every conversation. It is not to be understood by everyone you meet. The goal is to improve, to evolve, to have a quiet, honest conversation with your own weaknesses, and then do something about them. That requires action, not noise. It requires you to stop pretending and start working. The world is full of people who talk a great deal, but do very little. They dress the part, they speak the part, but deep down, nothing in their life ever truly changes. They are focused on the image of growth, not the reality of it. They are addicted to looking like they are winning, instead of doing the quiet, unseen work that actually builds a win. If you want something more for yourself, you must abandon that pattern. Stop trying to be impressive and start the honest work of becoming effective. Pause. Doing what really matters means cutting through the noise. It means you look at your daily habits with unblinking honesty and you ask, is this moving me forward? And if the answer is no, you change it. Not tomorrow, not when it feels convenient. Now. Because your life will not wait for you. Your goals will not build themselves. Longer pause. What truly matters rarely looks exciting from the outside. It looks like early mornings when the world is dark and still. It looks like cutting out empty comforts. It looks like sacrificing ease in the present to build a better future. And most of all, it looks like saying no to things that waste your time, even when those things are popular. This path requires clarity. You must know your priorities, and once you know them, you protect them. You don't make excuses. You don't wait for a cheering crowd. When you stop proving, you free yourself. It is a quiet liberation. You stop needing the world's permission. You stop waiting for its applause. and you begin making decisions based on your own standard. This is where real strength is born. When you can stand alone, when you can push forward when no one else is clapping. Some will not understand your choices. They will say you've changed, and they will be right, because to stay the same is to stay stuck. Growth means walking away from the habits and the people that no longer serve you. It means focusing more on results than on reactions, and it means being at peace with being misunderstood, because you are building something deeper than what can be seen on the surface. You owe it to yourself to take your life seriously, not in a cold way, but in a way that is clear and intentional. When you stop trying to prove your worth to others, you finally have the space to prove it to yourself. You prove it in how you show up after a setback. You prove it by keeping the promises you make to yourself in the quiet of the morning. The life you build from that kind of effort is solid. It lasts. The inner peace you earn from it, the confidence you develop from doing what is hard and not quitting, that is the real prize. You are not here to perform. You are here to become who you were meant to be. And that version of you, the one with strength, with discipline, with clarity, that version has nothing to prove. It simply lives its truth. You will look back one day and realize the greatest shift in your life did not happen when someone finally believed in you. It happened when you stopped needing them to. That is when you stopped proving and you started living. Chapter 4. The Private Garden. Build your habits without telling anyone about them. Pause. This is one of the most powerful practices you can adopt. Not because there is magic in secrecy, but because privacy creates the perfect soil for growth. When you keep your efforts to yourself, your focus stays pure, and your work stays honest. So many people break their own momentum by announcing everything. They start something good, and before the seed has even had a chance to sprout, they expose it to the world. They want praise for a journey they have barely begun. And the moment they receive that approval, the inner drive begins to fade. The external validation feels like a small victory, and it tricks the mind into believing the work is already done. Building a habit is a deeply personal act. It is not for a camera. It is not for a crowd. It is for you. And the more you keep it private, the more it becomes a real and living part of you. A habit is not a statement. It is a repeated, quiet action. It is something you do without fanfare until it becomes your nature. That only happens in the silent moments, when no one is asking and no one is giving you credit. You don't need to announce that you're waking up earlier. Just wake up. You don't need to tell people you're reading more. Just read. Your habit does not become stronger by talking about it. It becomes stronger by repeating it. When you work in silence, you protect your energy. You protect the fragile beginnings of a new way of being. Think of it as a nursery for new growth. In that quiet, protected space, you don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to worry about how your efforts look to others. You are not performing. You are simply showing up, quietly, repeatedly. That is how real change takes root. Not on a public stage, but in the private garden of your daily life. You do not have to justify your discipline. You do not have to explain your new direction. Just change. Improve your diet without posting a single meal. Learn a new skill without announcing your curriculum. Save your money without sharing your goals. These choices, made daily and kept private, will build a foundation of self-respect that no one can ever take from you. Some may not notice your growth at first. They might even question why you seem more distant, more focused. That is fine. You are not living for their comfort. You are creating a better future for yourself, and that future is built with the habits you stick to, not the ones you talk about. You will be amazed at how quickly your life can change when your energy is spent on doing instead of explaining. Because building habits in private teaches you something profound: self-trust. You begin to believe in yourself on a level that praise can never reach. You have made a promise to your own spirit, and you are keeping it. This is the wellspring of real confidence, knowing you have been consistent when no one was there to applaud you. This discipline becomes your architecture. It gives your days structure. You no longer have to hunt for motivation each morning. You have built a system, and now that system carries you. This private work also gives you the freedom to be imperfect. Growth is messy. It does not follow a straight line. By keeping your journey to yourself, you give yourself the room to stumble, to learn, and to adjust without the fear of public failure. You don't owe anyone a performance. You owe yourself progress. So be the person who takes action in silence, who becomes better behind the scenes. Be driven not by recognition, but by a deep and abiding self-respect. Build a life that works, whether or not anyone ever sees the blueprints. In that quiet effort, you will find a peace that cannot be shaken. You will become someone who doesn't just talk about discipline. You live it. You don't post about change. You embody it. This is how a strong life is built, in the silence, move by move, until time itself reveals your transformation. Chapter 5. The Daily Act. Take action every day and say nothing about it. This is the principle that separates those who truly want to change from those who merely like the idea of it. The ones who move in silence, who put in the work without needing attention or approval. Those are the ones who remake their lives. Not the announcers, not the sharers, not the ones waiting to be noticed. Quiet action, repeated with consistency, builds a result that speaks louder than any words you could ever say. Every day, life offers you a chance to move closer to the person you are meant to be. You do not need to tell anyone what you are about to do. You just need to do it. People waste years talking about their plans, addicted to the fleeting rush of an announcement. But announcements do not create transformation. Work does. Quiet, steady, sometimes boring, but always honest work, done daily. You do not need a crowd. You do not need applause. Accountability that lasts comes from within. It comes from the quiet knowledge that you are building something for yourself, and that is reason enough to give your best. If it matters to you, you will show up for it. When you are tired, show up. When you are busy, show up. When you are bored, show up. That is the engine of change. Not the loud goals or the dramatic declarations, but the quiet, relentless follow-through. Let them mistake your silence for inaction. An earthquake begins with a silent tremor deep beneath the surface. Let your work be that tremor. There is a unique power that grows inside of you when you act without needing a reaction. You stop depending on validation. You begin to trust yourself. You are not making noise. You are making progress. Your time belongs to you. Your energy belongs to your vision. The best work happens in the dark, when no one is asking about it, when no one is cheering for it. That is where new standards are set. Not when the cameras are on, but when the world is quiet and you still show up. Pause. Every workout, every page read, every focused hour. These are the building blocks, the stones you lay for your future. Stack enough of them, day after day, and you will look back a year from now and barely recognize the person not because you said you would change, but because you did. Every morning you have a choice. Return to the comfort of the familiar or take the next quiet step. Choose the step. Do it with intent, do it well. And once it is done, move on to the next. No need to brag. No need to show off. You know what you did. And for the person who is serious about their life, that is always enough. It's not about words, not posts, not promises, just effort. Daily, quiet, honest effort. And when things get tough, and they will, do not complain. Do not explain. Just keep moving. Adjust your course if you must. Learn from the resistance and let it make you stronger. But never stop. Every hard day you endure forges a new layer of strength within you. Every silent win you earn builds a foundation of real confidence. And every action you take, without telling a soul, brings you closer to becoming someone who lives on purpose, not for attention. Pause. This life is not about being seen doing the work. It is about doing the work and letting it shape you from the inside out. The less you talk, the more you do. The more you do, the more you become. And that growth, it becomes undeniable. Not because you announced it, but because people will feel it in your presence. They will see it in the quiet certainty in your eyes. So take the next step today, then again tomorrow, and the day after that. Show up, day after day, one step at a time, quietly, steadily, and watch how everything begins to change. Not all at once, not for the world to see, but deep inside, where it counts the most. That is where true success is born. In the quiet decisions, in the daily effort, in the choice to act without saying a single word. Chapter 6. Trust your pace. Improve yourself in silence. And trust your pace. Pause. This is how lasting change is built. Not in the noise of the crowd, not in a race against others, but in the quiet, steady process of becoming better on your own terms. It is not about being faster than someone else. It is about learning to move with intention, not with pressure. To get better because you have decided you are worthy of more than where you are now. The world moves at a frantic speed. Everywhere you look, people are broadcasting their progress, their results, their victories. And if you are not careful, a feeling begins to creep in. The feeling that you are behind. But behind what? According to whose map? Longer pause. The truth is, no two journeys are the same. And the only timeline that matters is the one you are on. You only understand this when you step away from the need to prove yourself. When you decide to grow quietly, without asking for permission or waiting for Val, silence is a sanctuary for your process. It gives you room to breathe, to work without the weight of expectation. It allows you to make mistakes without the fear of a public failure. And that is essential, because growth is not a straight line. Some days are strong, others are filled with doubt, but all of it counts. When you give yourself the space to experience this journey privately, you develop a deeper kind of strength, one that does not need applause to continue. Pause. To trust your pace is to respect where you are right now. It means you do not punish yourself for not being further along. It means you honor your wins, no matter how small they seem. Every day you do not quit. Every time you choose effort over ease, without needing to talk about it. That is growth. That is what builds a foundation that does not crack when life gets heavy. Most people fall apart, not because they are weak, but because they try to force a transformation overnight. The ones who last, they are the patient ones. They understand that what is built fast often falls apart just as fast. They take their time. They build slowly, deliberately. They know that consistency, not speed, is what gets them there. Improving in silence gives you back your control. You are not waiting to be noticed before you feel motivated. You are doing the work because it is becoming a part of who you are. Longer pause. Some days, it will feel like nothing is changing. But it is. With every quiet act of discipline, something shifts inside. You are becoming more patient, more focused, more resilient. You must believe in what you are building, especially when it is silent. You do not owe the world updates. You owe yourself the grace to move at the speed of your own soul. And when you fall off the path, as we all do, you simply get back up, quietly. There is no need for a grand announcement of your return. Just a gentle, silent return to your rhythm. One step at a time. There is a profound power in the person who does not need to be seen to stay consistent, who does not depend on applause to keep going. That is resilience, and it is built in the silent effort, day after day. Your journey is yours alone. You set the tone. You decide the pace. So choose patience. Choose privacy. Choose persistence. And trust that every quiet step is leading you somewhere real. Chapter 7. The Unshaken Path. Stay focused on your path and ignore opinions. This is the mindset that protects your peace. It is the discipline that sharpens your clarity and allows you to move forward, undisturbed. You cannot walk your own path if you are constantly looking to the side of the road, asking for directions from people who have never been where you are going. You cannot build a life of meaning while giving your attention to every voice around you. The world is full of noise. People will always have something to say. They will question you, doubt you, and misunderstand you completely. That is fine. Your job is not to convince them. Your job is to stay locked in on your purpose. When you decide to take your life seriously, you will feel a resistance, not just from within, but from the world around you. Some will try to pull you back into old versions of yourself. They will joke about your discipline. They will offer you advice born from their own fears, not from your vision. If you are not careful, you will begin to slow your pace just to make them feel comfortable. You will water down your ambition to match their expectations. And that is where you lose your momentum. You do not need to be understood by everyone. You need only to be understood by yourself. You need to know deep in your core what matters to you and why you are doing this. That internal clarity is a shield, more powerful than any opinion. Longer pause. You do not owe an explanation to people who are standing still. Protect your mental energy. Filter what you allow into your mind. Every moment you spend responding to criticism is a moment taken away from the real work. Let them talk. Let them wonder. You have a path to walk, and you cannot afford the distraction. Opinions do not build skill. Opinions do not wake up early and put in the work. You do. So why would you give the words of those who are not building anything the power to hold you back from building everything? When you begin to rise, you will find that you may have to walk alone for a while. Trust your vision when no one else sees it. That is not a burden to carry. It is a sign that you are on the right path. The version of you that you are becoming will thank you for your focus, for your courage, for not giving in. The outside voices grow quieter the more you stay committed. The doubt fades when your progress begins to speak for you, and the opinions that once felt so heavy lose all their power when you realize they were never about you in the first place. Most criticism is a confession. People project their own fears and limitations onto you when they see you doing something they never had the courage to do. Do not take it personally. Just keep working. Your focus is a choice you make every single day. Choose your vision. Choose your discipline. Shut out the noise. Let your actions be the only answer required. Let your growth be the only response. Keep your head down. Build in silence and move with purpose. When the time is right, your progress will say everything that ever needed to be said. And you will look at the life you have built, the confidence you have earned, and you will know that staying focused was the best decision you ever made. Not for them, for you. Chapter 8. The Strength of the Solitary Struggle. Handle your struggles alone and grow from them. Pause. This is not a vow of isolation. It is not a call to do everything by yourself forever. It is about understanding the profound power that comes from facing your hardest moments without immediately reaching for someone to carry the weight for you. True growth begins when you stop running from the pain and you start learning how to walk through it. The most vital lessons in life will not come from books or from advice. They will come from what you survive on your own. Pause. When you are in the midst of hard times, the easy path is to look outward, to blame the world, to wait for rescue. But real strength is forged when you look inward and you decide to take control of the only things you can: your attitude and your next step. People can offer comfort, but no one can feel your struggle the way you do. No one carries the exact weight that you carry. And that is why, to build the strength required for the next level of your life, you must learn to rely on yourself first. Most of your growth will come from the moments you feel like breaking, but you don't. From the times you want to quit, but you choose to move forward anyway. Those moments shape you. They test you. They expose your weaknesses. But in that exposure, they give you the chance to build something far stronger in their place. There is a time for help, but there are also seasons in life that require silence. They require you to sit with the struggle, to listen to the difficult lesson it is trying to teach you. Not every breakdown needs an audience. Some pain arrives to show you something about yourself that you could have never seen in the light. You do not become stronger by avoiding the storm. You become stronger by learning how to stand in the center of it, grounded and unbroken. The more you depend on others to mend the fractures within, the longer it will take to build the resilience your future demands. You will not always have support, but you will always have your choice. You will always have the power to decide how you respond. And that is where your growth begins. Pause. Most people run from discomfort. You must learn to sit with it, to let it reveal the weak points you've been ignoring. The struggle strips away the noise and leaves you face to face with your own truth. And when you face that truth alone, you change in ways no easy path could ever prepare you for. This is not about suffering in secret. It is about choosing strength over sympathy. It is about using your pain as fuel, not as an excuse. It is the moment you stop looking for a rescuer and you start becoming one. Longer pause. That shift is where you take your power back. The struggle may be loud, but your discipline must be louder. You learn to speak to yourself in a stronger voice. You become your own counsel, encouraging yourself when no one else is around to do it. This independence becomes your foundation. When things fall apart, you will be tempted to take the easy way out. In that moment, you must ask yourself, what would the stronger version of me do right now? And then, you do that, even when it's hard, even when you are alone. That is the work that forges character. People do not grow when life is easy. They grow in the dark, when the path is unclear, but they choose to keep showing up anyway. So let the hard days shape you. Let the pain teach you. Let the silence build you. It is in that space, where no one is watching, that you will develop the grit that turns struggle into strength. And when you come out on the other side, you will carry yourself differently. Not louder, but stronger. Because you will know what it took. Life will not stop testing you, but you will have become harder to break. And that is a victory no one can ever take away from you. It was not given to you. It was earned. Chapter 9. The work will speak. Let your results show what you have been doing. There comes a time to stop explaining. A time to stop promising. A time to simply work, and let the results of that work become your only statement. The people who achieve the most are often the ones who say the least. Their energy is not spent on proving they are working. It is spent on the work itself. Talking about your goals does not move you forward. It is a fleeting warmth that produces no lasting heat. Nothing truly changes until you sit down in the quiet, you focus, and you begin to build. Step by step, day by day. People do not remember your plans. They remember what you finish. So stop trying to sound impressive and focus on becoming effective. There is a rare discipline that grows when you put in the effort while no one is watching. It builds a confidence. Most people are busy performing. They want the reputation before they have earned the results. But if you want to build a life of substance, focus on your actions, not your image. You do not need to explain your schedule. You do not need to justify your focus. Just keep your head down and do the work. Longer pause. When the day comes that your results begin to show, the change will be obvious. People will notice. They will wonder. But by then, the answer will be clear. You have been working, not when it was convenient, but every single day. That is what creates a transformation. Lasting results take time. They demand sacrifice. You may be misunderstood for a season. That is the price of building something real. And you will pay it without complaint, because you are not working for their applause. You are working for a better version of yourself. The real victory is when you no longer feel the need to talk about what you are building. When you are so immersed in the process that everything else becomes noise. That is when your life shifts from planning into producing. The people who once questioned you will eventually respect you. Not because you impress them with words, but because your results will leave them no other choice. Results are louder than promises. They speak when you are silent. They prove what your words never could. So turn off the noise. Focus on the small, daily acts that move you forward. Keep your progress to yourself, not because you are hiding, but because you are serious. And in time, people will see the change in your mindset, in your discipline, in your life. But by then, you will not need them to. You will feel it in the quiet strength you have built. You will carry it in the way you move. Quiet effort always pays off. It just takes longer, but what it builds lasts. What it builds lasts longer too. There's no pressure when you stop performing for an audience. There's no stress when your only competition is the person you were yesterday. And there's no doubt when you have been putting in the work day after day. That is the part no one sees. The long hours, the early mornings, the distractions you sacrificed, the days you pushed through when every part of you wanted to quit. All of it adds up, and over time, it turns into something that cannot be denied. So let your habits do the talking. Let your consistency make the statement. Let your growth be the only answer you ever need to give. Keep showing up. Keep building. And one day, your results will become so clear, so strong, so obvious, that no one will have to ask what you have been doing. They will know real progress is quiet. It is patient, but it always arrives in the end. Put your energy where it matters, into the effort. And when the time is right, your results will speak, and they will say everything. Chapter 10. The Undeniable Victory. Win big without announcing a single move. This is not just a strategy. It is a sign of maturity. It is the quiet confidence of understanding that real success does not require a stage. The more you grow, the more you realize that the loudest one in the room is often the one with the most to prove and the least to show. The quiet ones, the focused ones, they are not broadcasting. They are executing. They are making small, deliberate moves day after day. And when the results arrive, they land with a weight and a depth that noise can never achieve. Longer pause. You do not need to explain why you have gone quiet. If you are serious about building something of value, your health, your skills, your character, the process requires a sacred stillness. The more you focus on telling, the less energy you have for doing. And doing is what separates the dreamer from the creator. Most people announce the journey before they have taken the first step. The problem is simple. The moment you announce it, your brain receives a reward it has not yet earned. It is the feeling of progress without the effort of it. Attention is a poor substitute for accomplishment. The master knows this. They keep their work private and let the victory deliver the message. Pause. When you win in silence, the reward is internal first. You are not chasing applause. You are chasing the standard you have set for yourself. You are motivated by your own mission, not by who might be watching. And when it is all done, when your mind is sharper, your life more solid, there is no need for an announcement. The shift is seen. It is felt. It is respected. Not because you demanded it, but because it is undeniable. True growth carries its own presence. The person who wins quietly has also learned to handle success with humility. They are not in it to prove anyone wrong. They have matured past that. They know the real reward is the freedom, the strength, the peace that comes from the work itself. When you have earned something through private effort, you feel no need to display it. You just keep moving forward. Longer pause. Your silence also becomes your shield. When people do not know what is coming, they cannot interfere. They cannot speak doubt into your plans. They cannot sabotage what they do not see. While others are performing for the crowd, you are in the quiet, building a fortress of discipline. You become your own source of motivation, your own accountability. You move based on clarity, not on the reaction of the crowd. You learn to trust the process, because there is no one there to cheer you on. It is just you, and the work. Not because you said you would change, but because you did. Every morning you have a choice. Return to the comfort of the familiar or take the next quiet step. Choose the step. Do it with intent, do it well. And once it is done, move on to the next. No need to brag. No need to show off. You know what you did. And for the person who is serious about their life, that is always in. And when the victory comes, and it will, it feels different. It is not a surprise. It is not luck. It is earned. And because you did not need the world to believe in you first, the reward is complete. You believed in yourself when no one else did. You kept going when it was hard. So let other people talk. Let them chase attention. You stay silent and stay focused. Do the work they avoid. Build the life they only talk about. Walk with a confidence born from the promises you have kept to yourself. The real win is not just the outcome, but the person you had to become to achieve it. Quiet, focused, relentless. When people finally see the result, they will think it happened fast. But you will know the truth. It did not happen overnight. It happened in the silence, in the discipline, in the hours that no one counted. And you would not have it any other way, because real success does not need to scream.